Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Welcome to the Dr. Dex podcast. I'm accompanied by my producer, DJ Studio Man. Calvin, say hello to everybody.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me make sure I got this right. I'm special guest today, Leonardo Adorno.
Yeah, no, you can call me Leo though. Make it a little easier.
Okay, we'll call you Leo for the rest of this podcast, and it's AGC Contracting.
Yes, sir.
All right, Leo. Well, thanks for being on the podcast. We really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us and for us to get to know you a little bit better. That would be awesome. So why don't you give us a quick rundown of your current status, and then we're going to hit the rewind button from there. So go ahead.
So currently I've owned my company since September of 2025, so not quite a year yet. We mainly have been doing decks. I kind of started it more with windows and siding in mind. And after doing a few decks, I just had the pictures out there and people kind of clung to that, I guess. And that's what I got most of the calls and requests on my website for.
Okay.
It's been a journey,
Yeah.
One of my first decks was 500 square feet. I did a two-tone deck and ordered the wrong materials, the wrong colors.
Oh, no.
I flip-flopped the colors. And we had already cut half the deck boards because one of the runs was 10 feet, so they're a little less than 10.
Oh, no.
So I had to eat that. But
oh, that's a hard first lesson to learn, man.
no, I look over my invoices or my quotes real carefully.
Yeah, your quotes and your contracts, because sometimes if you state it in a contract, I had the same situation once where a client came out to me and said, hey, are you sure these colors? Because we thought we wanted this. And I kind of remember having that discussion of possibly changing colors, but it's several months had elapsed since we started the deck. And I brought out the contract and I said, yeah, I see your point, but in the contract it states these colors. And they came back and said, okay, we signed this, so we're going to agree with it, but we would have preferred these colors. I felt really bad, but by the end of the job, they were extremely happy with the deck. So how old are you, Leo?
I'm 26.
All right. Good age, man. So what year were you born?
99.
99,
December.
right before the big. Oh man, back in 99, like December of 99, they were playing shows about the millennium and how the clocks are all going to fail and nuclear war is going to happen and tidal waves and earthquakes, So we're all sitting there, with bated breath, like it's midnight, it's 11:59 and 59 seconds, and then midnight comes and nothing. People are blowing off fireworks like normal and screaming and yelling and hooping and hollering, but the world didn't come to an end. Thank goodness. So where are you located currently?
I'm in Mansfield. We're out of Mansfield, Mass.
Mansfield, Massachusetts?
Yeah, I was born in Attleboro, but I've lived in Mansfield my whole life.
So I've recently seen, did I see you at JLC?
Yeah.
Okay, so how far is where you're at, from Rhode Island?
From JLC, I was about 30, 45 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
My geography sucks. It's terrible, especially the Northeast, because there's those small states, and they're so, like, what do you call it? It's not tri-state, is it? But is that what it is?
New England.
Yeah, there's like New England and Massachusetts, and somewhere else is pretty close to you guys.
Yeah, now we got like Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont. They all border us. New York, I think, borders part of us.
There's like 5 states that border you, right?
Yeah, now we got a bunch.
Yeah, there's some kind of trivia about that too, I think. But man, people are like, what an idiot. He doesn't know anything about it. But dude, I'm from the other side of the country, like upper left. It's like Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Like those are the states that border us, and then there's California and Nevada, and that's about as far as I go. Arizona's down there in Texas, maybe.
Probably throw like 5 Massachusetts into Washington.
Yeah, and about 10 times as much rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All right. So, did you Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I usually tell people I'm 15 minutes from where the Patriots play. So
Oh,
and
okay.
we're right next to Gillette.
Perfect. Yep. We got you on that one, man. Seahawks, go Hawks.
Yeah.
Sorry. So hey, were you born there?
Yeah. No, I was born a couple towns over, but this is
Okay.
where I've lived my whole life.
So what was growing up like? What was grade school, junior high school like for you?
A lot of sports.
Yeah.
Done them all pretty much.
What's your favorite, or what was your favorite in grade school, junior high?
I can't even tell you, to be honest, but I know I
Mm-hmm.
stuck with like football, and then I started wrestling in high school. That was new,
Yeah.
and I did
Yeah.
spring track. I did the field. That was pretty big when I was in high school. Not that I'm not big now, but I was
Mm-hmm.
close to like 260 pounds, almost
What?
270 pounds.
No way.
Yeah, no,
How much do you weigh now?
At the beginning of the year, I was down to like 190 almost, and I'm
Yeah, I was
scared
about
to
to say,
step
bro.
on now.
You are? You're
Yes.
scared to step on this?
Yeah, I've gained a little
Okay,
weight
so
over the winter not working.
all right, so let's talk about that a little bit, because I've been a big guy all my life.
Yeah.
Almost all my, I was either big by meaning I was overweight, or I was big by meaning I was bodybuilding and I was like gaining muscle mass.
Oh, yeah.
So for you, when you were in high school or junior high, you were 200 and how much?
I want to say I was like 275 at one point.
Were you considered obese, or were you just a big guy?
I was really big. Like when I
Okay.
started losing weight, it was like a 3-month period. I went from like probably 240 that I had come down to after over a couple of years, and then I just went down to like 190, and probably wasn't super healthy, but I just
Well, okay, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
To me, this is, you're not going to skip over this. We're gonna talk about it, because to me, this is extremely interesting. I mean, dudes my age, we're all trying to lose. We're all like, maybe not all of us, but some guys want to lose some weight. I've lost recently. I've lost my most recent. I think I'm down about 35 pounds,
wow.
lot 35
that's
pounds.
a
I'm
lot of weight.
just hovering over 200. Which is great, because I haven't been that low and man, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
During COVID, I lost a little bit, but then I gained it back, and then I had to lose it again. So anyways, but for you, so 275. So at your peak, how old, what grade were you in, or how old were you when you're at your heaviest?
I think like what would have been my senior year of high school, because then I dropped out, so I didn't finish. But,
You did. Okay.
Yeah, no, it would have been my senior year of high school. Probably was my biggest.
So you weren't doing sports at that point either, probably.
No, I was because I was
You
like
were.
a lineman, and I did like the field
Oh.
part of tracks, so I didn't run.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I think I was more of a healthy weight. I think a lot of that weight was muscle, and then kind of when I stepped away from that, I was just like, kind of the pot belly, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I
Okay,
can say it
so
with the
so
man
how
boob.
tall are you?
6'4".
Oh, you're taller. I don't recall you being so tall, but so still, it's 6'4", 275. That's still a healthy amount of weight on. So how did you and what kind of eating habits did you have to maintain that high of a weight?
I just ate all the time, and smoked a lot in high school, so I just ate a bunch of junk food, and like
Smoke cigarettes or weed or what?
weed. And,
Okay.
yeah, so I'd have the munchies or whatever, and just probably eat way too much food that wasn't good for me.
All right, fair enough. Like for a lot of people, that's a trade-off. When you get high a lot, you eat.
Yeah.
You eat a lot of stuff, man. I guess it depends on the kind of weed you're smoking or whatever. But okay, and it's legal a lot in a lot. Is it legal where you're at?
Now it is. In high school, it wasn't.
Right.
It's kind of
So
slowly
where
going
would you
through it.
where would you obtain your medicinals from?
Hey, stop.
Oh, I can't talk about that.
No.
To me, food is a drug,
Oh yeah.
and you got to learn how to manage that drug. to where, because food, you got to have it. You got to have it or you're going to die. I mean, you can live a few months without food maybe, but then body's going to shut down and you're going to die. And then what you decide to put in your body will basically tell the story, right?
Yeah.
Just like you said, were you eating a lot of fast food or just junk food or what, or both?
Yeah, no, I mean, uh, it's kind of a blur at that point because it was that, and then it turned into, drinking and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd
Okay.
be like late nights at Cumbies eating the
What's
squeezable
Cumbies?
nacho cheese. And
Is that like a convenience store or something?
oh yeah, no, that's a big convenience store. I forgot it's local to us.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
it's a
I'm
big
just making sure
convenience
everybody
store
understands what
chain.
you're saying,
Uh,
because I could be really construed differently. Though that word, it sounds a little different.
yeah, no, it's actually Cumberland Farms, but
Oh, okay. Now it sounds legit.
but they had
Okay,
like a
so
machine that would have a bag of cheese and a bag of chili and a little like tray of chips, and you would put it on yourself.
all you can eat, man. Just take the whole serving
Yeah,
platter up to
no.
the thing like this, and just hit the button until you can't hold it anymore with one hand because it's too heavy with cheese and. Okay.
I tried them
All right.
sober a few years back, and I was like, I don't understand how this ever went in my body. This is so like, it's
Well,
awful.
when you're young, right? You can
Yeah.
do that kind of thing. So your senior year, so you made it to your senior year, and then you dropped out of high
No,
school.
I made it till I was 16. Dropped
Okay.
out pretty recently after I turned 16. I was actually
What grade were you in?
um, it was the beginning of my junior year,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and what had happened was I was supposed to go into an early college program,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of presented it to my school. They were like, "Oh, this seems like a great fit for you." So I was going to transfer to a community college in our area
Mm-hmm.
and start
Mm-hmm.
working towards like college credits and stuff. And so
Mm-hmm.
I started doing the testing and stopped showing up to school as much because a lot of the testing was during school hours for some reason. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to the point where I was done and I got it into the program, and we brought the forms to the school, and they wouldn't sign the form that transferred the funding for me being a student there over to
Mm.
the community college. So I
You got
was
screwed.
yeah, well I was like, I can drop out right now and you're gonna get the same amount of money if you sign these papers or if I
Oh.
drop out. And then they were trying to make me redo the whole junior year, so I would have had to go
Ah.
back to high school for another year. And yeah, no, I dropped out and became an electrical apprentice actually.
Okay. All right. So before we get into that, because
Yeah.
that's very interesting. That was a smart move. Um, okay. So I just want to get through the weight thing now, because we're at your apex, and maybe I'm taking too much personal interest in
Oh
this,
no, hey.
but dude, it's like when I saw you, I'm like, you're thin. You're slender.
Yeah.
So for you to tell me that you weighed that much, and that I just saw you a few weeks ago, like there's no way you weighed that much. But this is 10 years ago, right?
No, this was a year ago.
No, well, you weighed 275 pounds a year
I
ago.
probably was 240. That's what I was trying to say. So like when I was playing
Okay.
the sports, I
Mm-hmm.
had more muscle, and then I had the
Mm-hmm.
fat on top of it, so it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
as bad. But like
Mm-hmm.
after years of just drinking and not taking care of my body and whatever, I just had like flab. It wasn't like I had no
Mm-hmm.
muscle anymore because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going.
No
I
definition.
wasn't going to the gym anymore. I wasn't playing sports,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Wait, what changed then? So you went from 270 to 240. How'd you take those 30 pounds off?
I, I want to say a lot of it was muscle mass, and then just kind of I had stopped drinking, and like I was working consistently and stuff. So I was doing a lot better in my life for a while
Okay.
at that point. Um,
Okay. So you drop out of your junior year, you become an electrical apprentice, and you're weighing about 240. This timeline is sticking. Your weight's going to stick with the timeline now, okay? I'm sorry, but this is how I'm going to process this.
no, well, that's bad because I've probably lost the weight 3 or 4 times now, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I've had a very big up and down with my weight loss
Yeah. Well, you
journey.
know what? We're not alone.
Yeah,
You're
it
you're
happens,
not
you
alone,
know.
dude. Because I've done it too. I've gone to 255. I've been down to boy the low probably 180, 190, which is almost too thin for me. It's I look good on the chart, you know, the when you look at the obesity chart, but I didn't. I mean, I was almost like I had friends saying, "Hey, man, are you all right? You on drugs, man? What's going on?" No, dude, I'm just like really paying attention to my calorie
Yeah,
intake and stuff like that. But okay, you're you know you start this electrical apprentice and you're fairly husky guy.
yeah. No, I was big at that point.
Okay, and how did that go? What'd you do for how long?
I worked for one guy. I think I kind of started it like 3 to 6 months early in Massachusetts legally. Like you're not supposed to be, I think, an electrical
Mm-hmm.
apprentice until you're 18. So
Mm-hmm.
I was working under the table for some guy, and his life was a mess,
Oh
and
no.
that ended up projecting kind of onto me getting paid, which kind of
Mm-hmm.
ended up being the last straw. It just kept happening, and I was like, I can't just keep coming in on Friday and you say, oh, well, I have to wait till next week to pay you or something, you know. And it started. I should have ran. A couple months into it, he had a rented cherry picker from United Rentals. I don't know if that's a company near you guys,
Mm-hmm.
or if I should
Yeah.
say the
Yeah.
company names, but
They're nationwide, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a truck from them, and we're out working one day, and we show back up to his house at the end of the day, like, because I left my car there, and the truck was gone, and all the tools were like all over his front yard, and
Oh man.
I guess he had stopped paying for the truck for like a year and a half, and they just had never came to collect it until that day or whatever. And
Wow.
they dropped his he had a trailer hooked up to it. They dropped the trailer with his scissor lift, and they just took the truck. But that was kind of the first thing, and it's just then he lost his personal truck. It got repossessed, so we were driving my personal car to all these jobs,
You were
and
driving him around.
yeah, no, I had like a sports car at that point because I was making decent money for a while, and they had like leather seats and stuff, so those were all getting ruined.
Mm-hmm.
And finally he like got off enough money to pay off his truck so we could go pick it up, and like I brought him to pick it up, and I don't know, he was a mess. And eventually I started working for somebody in town that I had known from when I was younger, and
Mm-hmm.
he got me hooked up with a bigger company. And the guy was like, oh, I'll match their benefits, or I'll like give you, and I was like, I can't trust that for you. So I just ended up leaving, and I worked for them for a little while. But that was a whole nother mess
Mm.
because they had us like, there's two sides of the company, and I was working on the bought out side of the company, and I was, wiring whole condos. We would be in a condominium. I'd go into one condo, throw on my music, and just start wiring it. And up until the box, usually they'd have somebody else come through and do the box.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing so good over there, I guess, that they wanted me on the other side of the company. And when they took me over, it was supposed to be a temporary thing, and it just never ended. And they had me like gluing conduit in a sand field, pre-construction, so there's no like building up. I'm like out in the hot sun just gluing
Mm.
conduit, like hundreds of feet of conduit a day. Or
Mm-hmm.
a delivery got dropped off in the wrong spot, go spend 3 hours moving conduit and like random stuff over 10 feet. And I kept asking,
Mm.
can I, when am I going back to my like normal job or my normal position? And they were like, they need you over there for a little longer. And that just kept being the story. And I got fed up with it one day, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like I just took a big step back. Like I'm not learning anything about electrical anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't even seen a wire in like months probably. I was like, what am I doing, you know?
Yeah. You didn't like doing the conduit thing.
Nah, I just felt like, I don't know, I had like a more respected position until they switched me over, and then I felt like I was
Mm-hmm.
their boy once they switched me over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just driving all over to all their different job sites to do like a few hours here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I understand I was young and still getting into it, but I just don't understand why they had that trust in me before, then they kind of like took it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Because it was me and another kid, and we were the only two laborers on that, or apprentices on that side of the company that were not family, or not there for another reason, or weren't being
Mm-hmm.
asked to, like, change what you're doing, or you're gonna get fired every couple of weeks. Like, we were the only competent people, I guess, on that side.
Mm.
And he was a lot more verbal, and he ended up blowing up at somebody one day because he was older than me and he was already in school, and he was just blew up at someone one day, and they ended up switching him back. But I didn't have
Hmm.
that confidence.
Man, you had to get angry and yell at people to go back and do the job you wanted to do, huh?
I guess.
It's kind of messed up. So how many years were you? Okay, so when you said you hit your boiling point, so what'd you end up leaving that job?
Yeah, so I heard about somebody in town that was doing a moving company. So through U-Haul, they have
Mm-hmm.
like a partner program, I guess, and you can sign up. You can tell them how many crews you have, how many jobs you want to take a day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I did that for a while. I think that was kind of a really great experience. It could have been a really great experience, but it ended up being my downfall.
Mm.
Um, I think one of the years we made a little over six figures, and I was living at home, um, just partying. Really, I
Mm-hmm.
had picked up Xanax, and just I was on a spiral, going nowhere. And I thought I was doing so great because I had all this money, and it felt like the best time of my life almost. But
Mm-hmm.
it, it was just a really bad kind of blur.
You got in some bad things, huh?
Yeah, no, I was drinking probably like 230 racks a week, and a handle of vodka or more a week, and on top, doing drugs, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
a blurry time
Okay.
for a
Well,
few years.
we're gonna put a pin in that one, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit more in the bonus episode. So if you guys want to hear more about Leo's journey down the dark channel, you're gonna have to go subscribe. But okay, Leo. So how old are you at this point? Where okay, so so this is your move. Are you like a subcontractor to the moving company?
This was my company, so I guess. So what would happen is you wanted to move, right? You rented a truck from
Mm-hmm.
U-Haul, and they would say,
Mm-hmm.
"Do you want to hire laborers in your area for
Mm-hmm.
X amount of dollars, whatever?" And so my company would pop up. They'd have a certain amount of companies, and the more jobs you did, the more they would suggest you would. I think they honestly had it on a rotation. So I think when you did it, it was automatically like assigned to a company. So
Mm-hmm.
the more jobs you took and completed, the more they would assign you to jobs. And I was doing really good. And one of my buddies actually, he was I went to high school with him, and he's still doing it. He has three trucks
Mm.
now that are his own. He has dump trailers.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he was successful from it.
So how many guys did you have working for you when you were doing that?
It was all under the table stuff, so it was all like
Mm-hmm.
high school kids. I
Okay.
probably had a rotation of like six guys that I'd use.
Starving students.
Yeah,
I love it.
a lot of football players because I was on the football team.
Sure. Yeah, back then, moving furniture and stuff wasn't that hard to do. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it was easy, right? I wouldn't want to do it nowadays.
no,
Like,
it was. I was pretty good at it, honestly. I like
mm-hmm.
learned. I picked up how to pack the truck pretty well because
Did you have to pack the houses up too? Did you do that, or was it just moving boxes?
We didn't offer that. So I never got into that service, but you could offer like gun safe remove. Like there was a whole list of services you could offer through them, but I never got into the packing stuff. I say that, but half the time you show up to the house and you're walking out with armfuls of the people's clothes to throw in the back of the truck, and you're like, you knew you were moving
Right.
at least a week ago. You couldn't have put this in a box or something.
That sounds about right. Average human.
Yeah, no, it got pretty ridiculous.
Not thinking
sometimes.
it through. Okay, so how long approximately? How long? And how old are you at this point?
I want to say 18.
Wow. Pretty young to be pulling such a high dollar amount.
I might have been like 17, 18. I did like I think maybe 3 to 6 months of landscaping. And as you know, I'm a tall guy, and landscaping equipment's not made for people over, I want to say 5'8" at least. So I hated landscaping. I know people, do it for their career, and all the power to them, but I just could never do it.
Not for you. Okay, so you had your moving business.
Yeah. Oh, the landscaping was before. Yeah, no.
Before.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
so you were really young.
You
tried landscaping for a little bit. Then you did moving for what, a couple years or?
Yeah, I want to say 3 years, and then the 4th year, it was kind of when I was fizzling out and just couldn't keep up with it because of my lifestyle, maybe.
Okay. Because you got a little bit of success, and then you started to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, just a little too much.
You overindulged a little bit.
Yeah.
And that took you to a little bit of a burnout. So what do you do after that?
Well, after that was a lot of kind of picking or, putting the pieces of my life back together, I guess. Hit a pretty big halt that I guess I'll say for the bonus episode, but there's kind of a huge eye-opener that I just couldn't ignore it anymore.
Okay.
Everybody in my life kind of knew, I think, up until that point, but no one knew how bad it was until then. And just I was forced to kind of look at myself in the mirror, so to speak. It sounds corny, but
no, it's good. It's a good analogy, actually.
No, we really just see what I had become, and like how oblivious I was to how bad everything was, even myself. You know what I mean?
And how old are you at this point?
I think 21.
Wow.
And when the first time I started to move in the right direction again.
Okay. All right. So you kind of had a falling out. I've noticed on this podcast, we've had several guests around your age, plus or minus 4 to 5 years, that have a similar backstory, which I find really interesting, that a lot of these guys are finding maybe success, or maybe, they're indulging at a very young age and basically hitting rock bottom and then pulling themselves out of the hole and coming out of it. And I think that's incredible because, what are your options? You stay there and you become a junkie, and then you live like that and then all you're worried about is getting your next fix or whatever. Or you pull yourself out and you rebuild the chapter of your life, and then you move on. And a lot of these guys have become very successful. We're having another guy on in 2 weeks, has a similar story. So, but I've noticed that it's happening at a younger age than it has when I think when I was growing up, it was a little bit older demographic that was falling into this trap. But I've noticed recently that it's a younger at least the guys I'm talking to, it's a much younger demographic. So it's kind of good though that you're getting all the crap out of the way of your life.
That's one way to see it.
and you're building out of it. I mean, seriously, like you go to high school. What's next? I don't know. I'm not going to college. You didn't go to college, right?
I'm a man full of surprises. I did indeed go to college briefly.
What? Okay. I just did it a little later than some of the other high school graduates. Okay, so we'll get there. Cool, man. I mean, this is really interesting. So, okay, so let's go on so you're climbing back up the hill, man. You've come down, you've hit rock bottom. You realize, man, I'm really screwing myself up, and I'm hurting the people I really love. I'm gonna clean my act up. So, do you get some kind of help or treatment or something like that?
No. So my dad's actually, I want to say, about 30 years sober right now. So he,
Congratulations, Dad.
yeah, no, he's a substance abuse counselor. He works at one of the biggest homeless shelters in Boston. Actually, he's the director.
Wow.
He doesn't work there.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, he kind of pushed me into trying that kind of stuff. But I've always, and I don't want to say this, and if anybody hears this and says, "Oh, I'm in this position, I shouldn't try treatment because this kid said that he thinks it's depressing." Maybe it was just the facility, the kind of treatment I went to.
Hey, this is your story, man.
Oh,
You tell it. When anybody else thinks, I don't really care about that. I care about what you have to say. Everybody has a different story. You just tell us what you think. Don't hold back. Let me know.
I don't know. I felt like I was in a church basement with a bunch of people that were forced to be there by court, and it just didn't feel like, I don't know, it just felt depressing. Like, that's not how I wanted to spend my Wednesday night, and I think it's, it worked for my dad, so that's why I say, like, I think it's a great program, but it wasn't for me. I actually went backpacking with one of my childhood best friends' dads, and that was kind of a huge
turning point.
Yeah, no, I remembered, because I was kind of always into outdoor activities, but I remembered like how much I loved being up in the mountains, and just being able to experience, I don't know, it's like you don't care about all the amenities that you have at home. You kind of forget about all that stuff, and like this mountain, they had like a little cabin at the top, and it's on the Appalachian Trail. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of
heard of it.
It's like the Pacific Crest Trail on the East Coast, but
okay.
They had like a little, kind of makeshift like dishwashing station, and it's like, it's probably pretty gross, but like you're not thinking about that. You're just thinking about, I need to eat my next meal, and I don't want, crust all over my bowls and stuff.
You got to build a fire and cook on it.
Oh yeah, no. Those people, it was so. We stayed at the cabin on the Appalachian Trail, and the people just had such incredible stories. They were coming from Georgia, which is almost 2,800 miles away. And they had just walked, the past 5 months, and like everybody had a different story to why they went out, and I don't know, it was just really cool.
That's really cool. So were people walking right by your cabin?
No, they were all like, we kind of made it up there at night, so they were all there for the night, I guess, kind of like unpacking and stuff, but the trail we were on intersected where they were going through.
Okay.
So they were actually all preparing to hike down in the morning. There were a bunch of the people staying there had just met on the trail, and they were renting like a Airbnb or something together for the night, so they could like, shower. And you have to get like food packages,
drop shipped or whatever.
Yeah, no, every like week or two, because you can't carry all the food for 6 months or something on your back,
Right. And unless you're a true survivalist, you're going to starve. Funny story. My stepbrother, his name's John, and he wanted to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, and he wanted to do it from Canada to Mexico, right? And I don't think he made it past Washington or maybe into Oregon before he almost died of starvation.
He
he just would get too sidetracked. It was too beautiful.
Yeah.
He'd go see this big field of meadows of beautiful flowers and I got to hike over there. And then 20 miles later, then he's like, oh, I got to get back to the trail. And then, oh, look at over here, and you got to be very disciplined to do something like that and have a good plan. Like you said, with drop ship goods, because there's no way you're going to be able to carry all that stuff and just your pack and your cooking utensils and all the other stuff that you need, creature comforts or whatever. I would suggest if you're going to do something like that, like maybe you do a mini one first.
Yeah, exactly.
To see what you're hitting on and missing on. There's a lot more information on the internet now than there used to be, because he did this like 30 years ago or 20 some years ago. But
they got forms and stuff. But that one's harder because you got to carry all your water. Here we got water you can filter, but over there you got to carry all the water too.
That's vicious. Yeah, how man, no thanks. I'll pass. But okay, so you go on this camping trip, and you get some really solid advice.
Yeah, no.
And is that how you kind of pulled yourself out?
I don't know. It just it kind of just made me think, about all because I had mountain biked kind of when I was younger and done the whole all the old outdoor activities, but my family wasn't really into that kind of stuff. So when I slipped into it, there was really nobody to kind of be like, oh, go do this, go do that, or come do that with me.
Right.
And yeah, no, it just kind of reminded me that, you could even just do it alone.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I don't know. And it just, I had my dog at that point too. I'd gotten my dog 2018. I don't know how I forgot about him. So he
okay.
I felt like he deserved that type of stuff because he likes to do stuff like that too. And
nice.
I probably did it.
So he had a little release going on.
Yeah, no, it was a nice way to kind of let stress go.
Okay, so like you're 22 years old. You're well past recovery. You've done your electrician's apprenticeship, whatever. That didn't work out towards the end. What's next?
I started working for a flipper. Was actually a painter by trade. And it was always an adventure over there, I guess. We'd never have the stuff we needed, and he would always try to Mickey Mouse the houses together, and like took out a load bearing wall once, and I had to argue with him about how he should put a beam in there, and like, it was just that type of stuff all the time, kind of common sense that you would think of, but he was a painter that just came into money, decided, oh, let me start buying these houses and throwing them back up on the market. But yeah, no, my dad is like a weekend handyman because he obviously has a full-time job, but I'd always been around it, I guess, since I was young. So there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I got into like real quick. Like I'd be a laborer on the site, and he'd have somebody doing something, and they couldn't figure it out, and I'd have done it with my dad or something, in the past, and kind of remember how to do it. And it's probably not the right way. I was definitely wasn't probably doing it the right way most of the time, but that kind of got my foot in the door to be able to start doing more of that stuff for him. And like once I started doing more of that stuff, I was working with one of his licensed carpenters, and I learned a lot from him too. About flashing stuff out and framing, just a bunch of random small stuff that I guess go into building a house, because there was one house he bought that was missing the back wall. It had rotted out.
Ooh.
And there was asphalt roof in the bathroom because they did like a extension, and they had to like step up a drywall, and we take the drywall out and the old roof is there, and we're like, what the hell?
Mm.
But yeah, no, it was always an adventure over there, and I feel like I learned a lot though, just because it was a bunch of really old houses, that you
Mm-hmm.
just never knew what you were gonna find when you opened up.
Yeah, yeah. It's rude awakening at times, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So you flipped houses for a little bit. And how long did that go on for?
I worked with him for, I want to say, a few years, like on and off. So I
Mm-hmm.
had gone to college at that point.
Okay, so talk about that. So how old are you then? You're going to college.
Um,
You decide you want to go to
yeah, I
college.
was 22 when I
Okay.
decided. Actually, it was kind of the end of 22. I want to say it
Okay.
was very short lived. Um, kind of regressed back into my old ways at a point, and just wasn't doing good in school, and it just, I was more there for the social aspect. I was like, this isn't
Mm-hmm.
what I need, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
could have pulled myself together, but also the bills. It was kind of a spur of the moment decision, I guess, to go back to school, and I thought it was gonna, be a good thing for me, but I think it just ended up.
Not being a
Yeah,
good
no,
thing for
it's
you.
just I was around, real successful kids that were able to, drink on the weekends and stuff, and that just turned into me, kind of falling back into my old ways, and
Mm.
I gained a lot of weight again. So we're going
Yeah.
back to this, like, past weight loss journey. I gained a ton
Mm-hmm.
of weight, just beer weight, college
Mm-hmm.
food, the whole nine
Mm-hmm.
yards,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, not even a full 2 years in, I decided that, I needed to kind of separate ties with that, and went to work for a flooring company. Um,
Okay. So you're 22 years old?
I'm 23 at this point,
Mm-hmm.
getting close.
You did a couple years of college. Wasn't for
Yeah,
you. So then you decide so you got this job at a flooring company.
yeah.
And what'd you do there?
I was just on the delivery team, so I just really helped move boxes, and we did the demo and stuff. Um, and I was working with a contractor and my dad on the side still. Um, and I was working for the flipper. I was kind of like
Jumping around a little bit.
yeah, I wasn't really on payroll anywhere or anything. I was just kind of, I like to call myself the bounty hunter at that point. I just went where the money was,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty stressful and, probably not good for moving forward in my life, but another experience where I was just doing a lot of things all the time, like siding windows, just whatever the day brought.
Well, you're getting a lot of experience under your belt, though, as
Yeah.
far as being all-purpose. In general, you're doing multiple different trades and skills, which is always good, I think, to be well-rounded. I am not like that. I've only done one thing for over 30 years.
You-
But
I can't do decks like you yet, so I was looking at the one that you have the curved cutouts going through the middle, and it's just, I don't know, my brain
yeah,
just explodes trying to figure out.
it's a little mind numbing. Yeah, it can be. But it is a challenge, and I also like a challenge, and when you've been given a set of skills, you use them, and me, I like to exploit them. Like I'll take them beyond what I think I'm capable of, and then maybe pull it back a little bit and try to execute. But that all comes in time. You're half my age, so you still got a long road ahead of you, and there's lots of trials and tribulations, a lot of pluses coming your way. There's also going to be some minuses. It's all how you deal with them in the end, and not falling back into those pitfalls and those traps is one of the things that you got to master, to be successful in life. And I think you already know that. You just got to have the will not to let it happen, right?
Oh yeah,
If anybody else is out there listening and you're hitting those pitfalls, it's not too late to climb out. there's always a rope there somewhere, but you got to grab onto it and hold on. Tie a knot and don't let go, man, and start climbing that rope.
Yeah, and even if you slip up a little, it's not the end of the world. I feel like a lot of people will slip up once and kind of feel like, oh, well, that's it. Like, there's no point in trying to
I'm
keep
done.
going, Yeah. It's like,
Not
we're
the
not
case.
perfect, shit happens, and I've been on a roller coaster my whole life. I've been a really good person at times, and I haven't been, but it's who
Yeah.
I want to be tomorrow that I think matters.
It kind of definitely builds your character, builds your strengths, and you know what your weaknesses are. So you just got to balance that out. We just had a guest on last week that, he had some pitfalls. He just relapsed, and not on the hard stuff, thank goodness, but still, like, a relapse is a relapse. If you're free of all drugs and alcohol, and then you start drinking because you go to an event and they're saying, here, have free beer. And like, oh, the temptation's just too heavy, man. Okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're having 10 beers, and then you're into 15, and then you start, maybe pilfering some of the swagger that they're giving away, that can get you in trouble. So, you gotta moderate and manage those things. But I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to tell people what to do. I just want to hear the story and just add my 2 cents to it when it seems feasible. But okay, so you're at the flooring company, you're doing demos, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing all kinds of stuff. What is next for Leo?
Pool company.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm all over the place.
Dude, you're like the map.
I know. So I started doing, actually, the guy who owned the flooring company, his pool guy needed help. And he was talking to him.
It's kind of related to what you do now, so I can see I can see the correlation.
No, honestly, it helped me learn a lot about water and waterproofing,
water
and
chemistry,
stuff like that. Yeah, no,
man.
We just did a lot of builds and stuff and like repairs.
Oh, okay.
But I used to like dive to find holes in vinyl line pools, stuff like that.
Okay, now that's kind of a cool thing to do. I was in Miami a couple years ago, and there was a guy, and we were up like 50 floors on this skyscraper in Miami with this killer view, and they're rebuilding the decks, but there's this guy with a scuba tank on in the swimming pool trying to find the leak on this rooftop. Like, how can you even afford to put a pool up here, man? Like, what kind of a framework do you guys have on this roof?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so what's that? Did you have to be certified to do that, or no? They just gave you a scuba tank and said, "Here you go, find the leak."
No, he's an old-fashioned guy. We have it's called an iron lung, so it's like a little air compressor that stays up on the pool deck, and you just get a hose.
He was too cheap to get you a tank, scuba tanks, huh? He just pumped the atmospheric air right into your lungs, man. Hopefully there's no smoke or anything coming through that.
This thing was like probably older than me. He's been doing it, I want to say, like 42 years now. So it was probably older than me. And oh my God, it would get so hot by the time we were done diving that you would have to like take a wet towel to like press the plastic on-off switch. Because it was just
my goodness,
on fire pretty much.
Dude, that's so dangerous. But I guess you're only 8 feet deep, so like how dangerous could it be? Just you start choking, you swim up. As long as you don't black out, you'll be fine, right?
Oh yeah, no. Well, there's a couple times like in the beginning where when I first tried, I'd try to breathe through my nose, and you have the mask with the nose piece over it. And you try to breathe through your nose and you can't breathe and you freak yourself out. You're like, oh crap, what's going on? But no, once you get used to it, it's not bad. And you have to equalize your pressures, like blow into your nose. Like even when you're only down 8 feet, you wouldn't think of that.
Yeah.
But even at 8 feet, it's
a couple atmospheres or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really talking out my butt right now, but yeah, I get it because I've gone down 8-10 feet in the water, and yeah, you can definitely tell a difference, especially if you have sensitive ears.
No, exactly. And we'd be down there sometimes working on a drain for like 30-40 minutes, so you'd be down there for a decent amount of time, and it'd start to build up.
So how do you find a leak in a swimming pool?
Honestly, it's really easy to see.
Is it?
Most of the time we'd go old fashioned and just go in and there's problem points in a vinyl line pool, like the weaker
Mm-hmm.
points or where
Mm-hmm.
dirt will usually wash out. So you'd go to those points first, and if you couldn't find one there, you just kind of start at the deep end and you zigzag back and forth, and you feel across. But a lot of the times, we had it's called a leak detector, and you have a little box, and you plug in one piece. It has a wire, you throw it into the pool, and it's a little floaty with a metal plate on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other piece, you hammer in a piece of metal into the grass in their yard, and you
Mm-hmm.
clip like a gator clip onto it that's attached to
Mm-hmm.
the wire that's also on the
Mm-hmm.
box. So what it does is the little plate sends out an electrical current, and
Mm-hmm.
the metal pipe will pick up the electrical current, the easiest way to get to it. And you
Hmm.
have a piece that goes on the skimmer pole.
Mm-hmm.
And once you put that piece in between, it will detect in between the metal piece and the hole in the pool. It will detect
Mm-hmm.
that that's the shortest point on the circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have headphones and you're listening beep 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 beep, and then it'll go boop, 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 and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's the hole, and then you have to dive
Okay,
in.
so you're doing that part from outside the pool.
Yeah, no, you just walk on the pool deck and you kind of just
Mm-hmm.
meticulously go
Mm-hmm.
back and forth.
And then once you think you know where the leak is, then you gear up, and then what do you use? So vinyl. How do you mend a vinyl pool underwater?
They have special glue that it will set up underwater. So you kind of
Mm-hmm.
take another piece of vinyl and you glue it,
Mm-hmm.
and usually at that point, if you have a hole in your vinyl liner, the patch will outlive the liner on your
The rest
pool.
of the liner,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Okay, so how long did you do that for?
Um, Up until the end of the last summer.
Okay, so end of last summer, you're 240
um,
pounds.
no, this was so. If we're going back on that timeline, we got to back up. That was right when I started working for him. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
this was like 3 years now. Wow, time flies. So I guess it wasn't
Time
a
is
year
flying,
ago.
brother.
I've lost the weight for a while, but yeah, I want to say I lost the weight probably 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe, I
Okay,
guess.
and that was 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, no, I was down to like 180 at one point, and I was
Oh, 70
pretty
pounds. So
skinny.
how did you lose 70 pounds?
At that time, it was the hard way, calorie counting, working out every day, mountain biking,
Okay. Do,
lifting
do you have a mountain
weights.
bike right now?
Yeah,
What kind of mountain bike do you ride?
I got a specialized
Ooh,
stump jumper.
that's a good brand.
Yeah, no, it's pretty
I used
sweet.
to ride some mountain bikes, but I made that big investment into I had a Mongoose for a while, but I always wanted a Kona or a Specialized
Oh, yeah.
or a Trek or something really cool. Now they have these electric mountain bikes that look kind of fun.
No, those are my.
Not as good for the exercise, but really cool for just cruising around on.
Oh yeah, no, but they're cool too because older guys that are into it that can't keep up anymore. It's something to help.
That'd be me.
Yeah, or people like one of my buddy's dad's friends. He has a heart condition, so he just switched over to electric so he can go on longer rides again.
And have you ridden any of those fat tire bikes?
I rode one briefly because I'm in a mountain biking club. Kind of corny,
Mm-hmm.
but
No, that's cool, man.
yeah, no, it's a bunch of older guys, doctors, tech guys, engineers, like
Mm-hmm.
random group of guys to be hanging out
Mm-hmm.
with. But no, they have a lot of the guys invest like tens of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
into it, and just have
Yeah.
a lot of different option bikes for different days, how they're feeling that day.
Here's my $10,000 Monday bike, and here's my $20,000 Tuesday bike.
Well, my first bike was a fully titanium. It's called a Moots.
Really?
From Colorado, yeah. and
Really?
it was from a doctor. He sold it to me for like $750, and you
No
show up to his
way.
house, and he had at least 15 $5,000+ mountain bikes, and this one
Was probably
MSRP.
there too.
No, it's like $13,000 sticker price. I was like, what the hell?
Dude, so and you don't have that anymore?
No, it was too big. It just I felt the geometry on it was off. I felt like I was like high up off the ground, and I didn't feel like I could kind of lean into my turns, and it wasn't that. I would pull off the trail trying to take a turn, and I wouldn't be able to get it tight enough, and I'd like fall off the side.
So you probably flipped that bike, huh?
Yeah, no, where I ran it into a couple trees at least.
But did you end up selling it to a buddy or something?
No, the guy took it back.
Oh,
Because he's some guy. He's in the mountain biking club. So he.
oh, I'd like a $13,000 mountain bike for $700. I'd be all in on that.
Yeah, no, I felt bad selling it because the guy was like helping me out. You know, I kind of like asked
Sure.
the guys of the group if anybody had an old bike, and this guy was like, "Well, I don't really want to part ways with it, but if I had to give up one, it would be this one. I'll do it for like $750."
Oh, wow.
So I was like, you know,
Wow.
he's just kind of doing me a solid. I didn't want to.
Yeah,
Him to
that
be
was
on
pretty
Facebook
cool though for you.
Marketplace.
You could have made a quick couple G's on that baby, man. But no, that's actually the right thing to do. That's really cool. The admirable thing to do is take it back to him and say, hey, you know, this isn't working out for me. Thank you, but just not a good fit.
Yeah.
So so is that when you bought your Specialized?
Yeah, so I sold that. I bought my Specialized, and then got one of my best friends to buy a bike, and he went out and bought this like $3,500 fully carbon Trek. I'm like,
Cool.
what's going on, man?
What just happened?
I pull up on my bike. I'm like, damn, man. What's going on?
So do you have local trails that you go on or what?
Yeah, he lives in a local reservation area, so I can just go over there and.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. I leave my bike actually in their garage because I don't really have anything around me. My town's pretty overdeveloped at this point. Got the train station, so a lot of people that work in Boston live down here.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of commuters.
Yeah. Rent and stuff is just ridiculous. It's just because we're like 10 feet to the left on the map. Or not 10,
wow.
A couple of inches.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you have done just about everything. So the pool company, you get done. So when does that end?
At the end of last summer. And, I love the guy I worked for. I still talk to him. I'm about to actually do his deck. It's 2 front decks in about a month from now.
Nice.
So, I'm still in good standings with him. I just didn't really expect I didn't expect to be where I am talking to you today. I've watched your videos forever, and like, I didn't expect me to be here, and I didn't expect my company to be getting, 4 to 10 leads a week. And this just is so, huge things.
Surreal?
Yeah, no, it's surreal. Like I didn't expect this to be what I was. Why do
you feel that way about having me ask you to be on just my podcast? It's nothing, we don't have a huge audience. It's not my social media page. It's just an offshoot of it. But I like to have people on that I feel are genuine. When I met you, obviously, if I asked you to be here, it's for a reason. But I don't understand what you just said. Really, I can't really grab it because it's just a couple dudes talking to me. It's not like I'm not like I don't put myself at any particular level above or below you.
No,
we're just people chatting. So I'm grateful for what you say. I just thought that it'd be kind of cool to have you on and share your. You decided to start a construction company, or you ended up.
I was creating a deck building side work on my off season. I'd been doing decks a lot, with the construction company I was working for on the off season and stuff. And that's kind of what I would do. I'd come home, go on YouTube. I'd be like, oh, how do I cut stringers and stuff? And I like learn.
Then I'd pop up.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'd learn, on YouTube that night, go in the next day and be like, oh, I know how to do stairs. And I would fail a lot. Trust me, it took me a lot of tries. But, even when I started, I was just doing PT decks and stuff. So
well, that's how we all start,
exactly.
man.
And I've been, kind of progressing, and and this year I'm trying to only do composite. I haven't the PT yet. Knock on wood. So
knock on wood.
It's, I don't know. It's
how do you feel? How do you think you're getting the leads, and how are you making your sales? Like, and we're gonna get into this into the bonus episode because we're almost out of time.
Right.
As soon as he tells me like this, then I got to wrap.
Right.
But what if one piece of advice? Like, you're young, but I started my deck business when I was 21. So when I say you're young, I mean I was 5 years younger than you when I started my company, and it was hard to get a sale. It's hard to convince somebody to give me $15,000, and now I command, $150,000. So how did you, like you said, you're getting plenty of leads. How do you think you're generating that so quickly at such a, I'm going to say it, at such a young age? How are you generating these great leads? And there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of young, upcoming, successful deck builders in our community. And I just want to know yours.
Me, it's been not a simple website with, a lot of requested quotes and contact us today, good pictures. And I use Facebook, to be honest. I'm in a lot of local groups. I post when they allow small businesses to post. I have a little flyer and then a few pictures of a job I post after with the link to my website. And 90% of my leads come through the link on my website. No, I get them. People
through your webpage.
The form on my website, and I think they find it on Facebook because it's usually correlates the days when I'm posting in those groups that I'll get a lot of leads. But
are you doing sponsored ads through Facebook, or are you just posting on forums?
Sometimes I do. It's just my sponsored ads sometimes flop because I'm really I'm really bad with technology, and it frustrates me a lot. So I'll get into doing it, and it's just.
But you're saying that, but on the other hand, you're also getting a lot of your workload from digital format. So you got to be some kind of savvy to be able to process that, regardless if it's through a web page or through social media.
I bought a website actually, and couldn't figure out how to get it onto my domain. That the person ended up stopped contacting me, and I ended up just doing it through GoDaddy's AI service.
Well, there you go. Sometimes you got to pay somebody else to do things for you, and I'm finding that out the hard way. But Alex Danner from Fence and Deck Marketers, he is helping us a lot with that kind of stuff.
Really?
So, yeah. Okay, Leo, we're out of time.
Oh, no.
Already.
All right. It went quick.
We just started talking about your business. But if you want to hear more about Leo's journey through younger life, or you want to hear a little bit more about Leo's business, and we're going to ask him a few things about how much he's charging and things like that, you got to subscribe to our Patreon channel. So I encourage you to go over there. We have 11. We have 11 Patreons now. So we're going to be sharing your story with 11 people. And it could be 12 or 13 if you just go over to Patreon and subscribe, guys. We really appreciate you. Thank you for listening and watching. Don't forget, if you are on YouTube watching this, click that subscribe button. Leo, thank you so much. How do we get a hold of you if somebody has a question for you?
I'm on Instagram at agc.contracting.com, and my website's agc-contracting.com.
There you go. Thanks again, Leo. We really appreciate you. All right, guys, over and out.